All right. Um. First of all, Buffalo. Did you really think that coming out in the second half, looking like your old selves from last season, was gonna save you from me coming on here and absolutely obliterating what you did in the first half? Like seriously, first half football for the Buffalo Bill. Just making sure my hat didn't go through the wall real quickly because I didn't actually look. Want to make sure I knew where it actually fell. But anyways, did you really think that I wasn't gonna come out here and say how atrocious, downright disgraceful football you played in the first half against Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Let's talk about the offense. Came out looking like jack fucking shit. First half football, the offense had no idea what they were doing once again. The offensive line, just so atrocious, man. I don't. Ugh. That offensive line played terrible. I don't know what is wrong with this offensive line right now, ladies and gentlemen, but they are letting in anyone. They're basically an open door. Anyone can go through. Anyone can go through. You have a 3-year-old kid trying to learn football. Oh, he's allowed through too. He can get to Josh Allen. He can hit the quarterback. Go ahead, let him go. Let him go through. Yeah, let's just let every team get a hit on Josh Allen and injure him because why not? We see how well that worked in Baltimore today. Lamar Jackson got injured because of offensive line play, letting him hit. Josh Allen did technically get injured in this game too. And by the way, Allen looked annoyed and pissed off that his offensive line wasn't giving him any time in the pocket really to do any work. And that's why in the second half, I'm going to talk about the second half actually in a little bit. I just want to talk about the first half first. And right now, that offensive line is the problem that we had through most of this game for the first half. Not allowing anything to get open or develop, letting Allen basically become squashed meat in the backfield. The Buccaneers, the defensive linemen, for the first half, they basically had a gourmet buffet. Josh Allen, man, that is a nice steak dinner that Josh Allen serves to the Buccaneers defensive ends. Jason Pierre-Paul gets a nice 12-ounce steak in there. I mean, Tom Brady, I don't know if I want to say this, but like Tom Brady can eat a full-ass steak in his pocket, while Josh Allen basically just gets like a small little cracker to eat because that's how much time he has to actually throw the ball against his Tampa Bay defense in the first half. My problem right now is that the offensive line has no, and I mean absolutely no, physical dominance to them this year. They just look like they're soft. The offensive line is just atrocious, and there's a reason we can't run the ball. Now, here's the thing: I got mentioned about not running the ball at all with any running backs in the first half. I'm gonna say this: I kind of understand why you're saying no running plays at all. Might be not good. Like, it might not look good to people that are just watching in and seeing the game. I actually don't mind that. When our offensive line is getting completely destroyed and utterly killed like it is, do you really expect us running back like Singletary and Beretta to really like do anything? If we're being honest, when you're in like third and long plays for 24/7, like I think running plays are fine for Buffalo, but they need to run them in good spots. Instead, let the passing offense open up the running game, in my opinion. But I'll go more into that in the second half action because I think Buffalo actually did a really good job at that. And they actually opened up the running game a little bit because of the passing game this week, instead of just trying to run the ball 26 times and going absolutely nowhere with it, and then trying to rely on their passing game to bail them out, which didn't work last week against New England, and it wouldn't work against any other teams, really, to be honest with you guys. But tonight it was decent. Anyways, back to the action at hand here. Just Josh Allen having no time in the pocket in the first half, and it really was costing him, ladies and gentlemen. I kind of want to get the game up here real quickly on my computer just to make sure I know the exact score. Well, not the exact score, but the exact time and everything else like that. I want to see how much sacks did they get on Josh Allen himself. They only had 3, but they had so many quarterback hits. I believe most of them were in the first half. Shaquille Barrett had 5 QB hits. They were letting Shaquille Barrett 8 Josh Allen, like, just 24/7 whenever he had a chance to. The interception by Richard Sherman, I blame more on the offensive line not giving Allen any time in the pocket. Allen had to make a bad decision. He made the wrong decision by throwing it up in the air, trying to get to the receiver, and Richard Sherman took advantage of it, got the pick interception. I think Allen should have just threw it out of bounds instead. And I think that's what Allen needs to learn, really, is just throwing the ball away. Just get out of the pocket and throw it out of bounds. Like, he tries to make every play into a home run play, and it doesn't really help that much for Buffalo. And Josh Allen, I understand he's a competitor and everything. He wants to get a first down. He's not thinking about, like, just throwing the ball way outside the fences here and just, taking a this, that, and the other. But at the same time, you gotta take, like, what the defense is giving you. And if they're not giving you anything and you have nowhere to go with it, throw it away. Do not take an interception. That's what Josh Allen needs to learn. And hope next season, or at least for the rest of the season this year, for the Buffalo Bills, I think Josh Allen needs to actually work on that. As for the defensive side of the ball, Leonard Fournette had over 100 yards carrying, 19 carries, 130 yards rushing with a touchdown. Tom Brady had a rushing touchdown himself as well, 7 carries for 16 yards. Our run defense is atrocious. Tremaine Edmonds cannot stop the run. Matt Milano is more of a passing linebacker. Tremaine Edmonds is more of a rushing linebacker playing middle linebacker spot. I think it's time to realize this, Buffalo, and to actually play accordingly. And what I mean by that is that we need to get an actual middle linebacker that can play the run. I think that's one of our main concerns right now in this season, is that we have no one that really can play the run in the middle linebacker spot. Matt Milano's a decent, he's, don't get me wrong, Edmonds and Milano, they're decent at getting back to the running back and everything like that, but they're not a force that will just stop the run, on a consistent basis. The same thing with Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. You think of Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer, you're thinking about pass coverage and everything like that. You don't have someone in that defensive front or that defensive anyone in the defensive back that's really known for laying big hits on running backs that dare to try to run past the defensive line. Everyone says about the defensive line being bad. I'm going to say this right now, is that I know the defensive line is bad. I understand that, but at the same time, we need to get something that can actually change the game, really. Like a big hitting linebacker in the middle linebacker spot. That would be huge. Running backs won't want to run down the middle of the defensive line. They're going to get hit to hell. And then we move Tremaine Edmonds maybe to the outside linebacker spot and have Edmonds maybe play as a pass rusher. Maybe that helps the pass rush as well. I've seen Tremaine Edmonds make a few rushes at the quarterback, and he's the reason that that play where Brady threw the ball and knocked off of the hand of Tremaine Edmonds and turned to a tip ball, almost an interception for Buffalo. I think that could work. I'm just saying, add some more, depth to the defensive line. Let's get something, better here going on. We cannot let teams run the ball all over us, ladies and gentlemen. We need to get something that can actually stop it. And Tremaine Edmonds, he's a good player, this, that, and the other. I don't think that he's actually the right material to be a middle linebacker. I'm sorry. Would I pay him the money to be a middle linebacker? No. I kind of want to see how he'd play on the outside linebacker spot and see if he would actually, change the pass rush for the Bills. However, again, that's the thing. I think having Edmonds really rushing on the outside, you have a blitzing linebacker then with Edmonds. You have A.J. Klein who could rush the quarterback as well. Matt Milano being pass protection. Just a middle linebacker in that spot that can stop the run would just be phenomenal. You could be changing them out all the time and everything like that. The defensive line. Tom Brady had basically no hits. And he had 2 sacks, loss of 12 yards. How many hits did they have on Brady? They only had 4. Matt Milano had 2 of them for blitzing. Eli Anuku, someone I never heard of before, they probably just brought up to see if he actually gets a quarterback hit. He has a quarterback hit, and Adrian Vanessa had a quarterback hit. Besides those players, I mean, not really, nothing really else to note, really. So, yeah. Like I said before, I think it's time to get something for the run defense. Our run defense is atrocious, and we get destroyed down the ball at all times. And this team that showed up in the first half, I'm wearing a playoff shirt right now from the 2020 season, Buffalo Bills playoffs. Buffalo, if you want to make the playoffs, you cannot be playing like this. You would be squashed, even if you made it, you'd be squashed in the first round. However, going down 24-3, I was already expecting to go off on this Bills team and go off about this team being a fucking atrocious, and that's why I threw the hat. I wasn't upset with them how they played the second half, and you can tell I'm not really upset right now anyways because they played really well in the second half. I cannot take that away from them, is that they played really well in the second half. They played to their potential. The defense started clicking. They stopped Brady on some 3-and-outs. They stopped the run as well. Tampa didn't have full control of the game anymore like they did before in the first half. Allen started passing the ball. It started working. They started running the ball a little bit more too. I think it's because of the passing game, by the way, because Tampa was looking for the pass. They wanted something to run, and that's why I think we should stay in. I'll say this: I don't think Buffalo should run any more runs when Allen's in the center and a run back's in the backfield. I think all the runs should be ran out of basically shotgun formation. I was trying to think of the word. Sorry. I think all runs should be ran on shotgun formation. Because I think what this is going to do is that this is going to open up the passing game. Not just the passing game. The passing game is going to open up the run game. Let me explain that. They didn't run at all for the first half. The second half, when they finally ran, Devin Singletary had 20 yards. He was in shotgun formation, and Allen just gave him the ball, and it worked. I mean, when you're in shotgun formation, a lot of teams are expecting Allen to be throwing. When you run a ball in shotgun formation, doing draw plays, doing just small handoffs like that, it'll get a few yards. It'll get a team like the Buccaneers or any team in general might be a little bit surprised when they run the ball off the shotgun compared to running it when they're like under center. Like if you see Allen under center, with a running back and a fullback, you're like, oh, okay, they're just gonna run the ball then. They have no run deep. They don't have no way to run the ball with this offensive line. We can just stack the line and just control it. Hell, we don't even have to stack the line. Our defensive ends will crash on them because their offensive line can't actually stop the run. However, when you're doing like draw plays and being in shotgun, those players that are linebackers are going to sit back. They're going to look, and when they analyze it's a run, they might be, oh shit, they're running. They have to run that way and not be in the same position to actually stop the run. I think Buffalo played and capitalized really well on that for the second half. They've changed their offensive strategy up in the second half. They started passing the ball more. Josh Allen did most of the work himself. Let's be honest here. Josh Allen was having a field day once he got going in the second half. 54 passes, 36 completions, 308 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, sadly. 12 carries for 109 yards with a rushing touchdown. Josh Allen, when he gets going, man, he cannot be stopped. No team can really stop him when he's running the ball and then also passing with ease as well. And that's where the trickery comes in, is where you're like, oh, well, you got to be paying attention to Allen as well, but you cannot leave Diggs open. He's going to pit Diggs easily. And I think Allen is a lot more dangerous quarterback in the pocket than someone like Lamar Jackson is. What I mean by that is that Allen has the arm strength and has basically a Mahomes type of style to him, to where you don't want to let him run, of course, right? But for Lamar Jackson, I feel like teams are going to be more so inclined to stop the run first and then stop the passing later. Whereas Allen, when you're having him do this stuff on the ground and on the passing game, you have to like decide where to go. Like if you want to go like stop Allen, if you want to stop the passing game, if you want to go for Diggs. Like, double teaming Diggs, who's going on a crossing route down the field, But then Allen just starts taking off and no one to stop him. I mean, how do you guard that as a defense? What do you prioritize? What do you prioritize? Do you prioritize? I can't speak today, ladies and gentlemen. Do you prioritize going after Diggs on the crossing route, or do you try to stop Allen from running out of the pocket? Now I know that that requires offensive line help as well, but I mean Diggs and everything is just Allen getting out of the pocket and everything. It works well, wonders for him. Um, Buffalo came back, put it in overtime. They were down by 21 points at one point. They came back, scored. Buffalo, I gotta say this: if you play like that, you have a chance to go 3-1, even 4-0. Let's be honest, New England you might give New England a little bit of a challenge, if we're being honest. And I know Ace, you're not gonna believe that, but I mean the way Buffalo played in the second half, you have to agree that Buffalo might give them a run for their money if they play again in New England, especially if they play like that. Now, if they play like they did in the first half, forget about it. I don't want to see this team in the playoffs. I'm serious. I think this team needs to actually lose games if they're going to play like the first half. But if they play like they did in the second half, I can't really hate them. So my mixed feelings right now is that I want to see this team go against Carolina. I don't want to see this defense bail out this offense like they did in the first season, in the first few games, in the first half this season. What I mean by first half is like the games against Pittsburgh. They lost to Pittsburgh and they beat Miami. They beat the Texans. Like those games right there, there were blowouts, and Buffalo was like one of the top offenses in the league. They won that because the defense gave the offense positions and everything like that. I mean, I don't think we had a really good offense until like against the Titans, and our defense kind of collapsed in that game. But I don't want to see the defense bail them out. I want to see the offense to go into the Carolina game and completely control and dominate the Carolina Panthers. If they don't, then I don't think a playoffs is even questionable here. I don't think we should be even talking about playoffs or even Super Bowl aspirations at this point. I want to focus on one game at a time as a Bills fan. Beat Carolina and then focus on New England. If you beat New England, focus on the next game, which is Atlanta. Beat Atlanta, focus on the Jets. Focus on all these games. Do not lose. Your 4-1 loss, and that's against New England to make the playoffs. They are the 7th seed right now. I don't know. I don't know if this team is actually gonna make it or not. If we're being honest, the way they played, if they played like they did in the first half, I don't see them making it. I'm just being honest with you guys. But second half, they got me back in. Like, they had no reason to be even in that game the way they played in the first half, but they somehow came back and actually showed the old Bills again. So that is why my feelings are mixed right now. I don't know what this team really is going to show me, and I want to take it one game at a time and see how they do against Carolina. They should win, but again, I'm just questioning it because, I don't know what this team really is. Thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you later in the next video. I'll see you later. Peace.